Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't me, Coach. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Get off our lawn.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card. We're back. Thank you, as usual, for tuning in. Like, you know, in the old days, you had to tune in to a show on a radio or on your TV. You have to move the antennas. Woo, woo, woo. Whoa, there we go. PBS is in focus. All right.
The three major channels and PBS.
Yeah, the three major. Okay, when I was a kid, we got PBS, ABC, NBC, CBS. 4 channels. Those are the ones that I could get on TV. So there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you like, subscribe, and share it with your grandma. As always, make sure you like, though. That's the thing that really helps us. And, you know, add some comments after the show in the comments section. We do answer some of them, many of them, almost all of them if we can. We try at least. Berlin Americana, like, comma, you turds. Okay, yes, you got it right this time. The turd in the background says, welcome back to the Straight Red Card. Shit, I've got nothing. Slow news week. Derek has big balls. Brett is bald. My wife is a whore. Greg is God. That's all I got. Brett is bald. That's all he's got on you. Bald. You're bald.
Balding. I mean, some hair. It's not like I've got a horseshoe haircut or anything like that.
Right. And to keep it clear, I don't think my balls are big. They're actually fairly medium to small size. So
the Van Wilder movie. Have you ever seen Van Wilder? National Lampoon's Van Wilder?
No, I don't think so.
There's he's got a bulldog. Basically, Van Wilder is Ryan Reynolds. He's in college. He's going for his 7th year or whatever. And but he's got his bulldog, and he hasn't neutered the bulldog. So the bulldog runs around, has these huge fucking balls, dangling down, and then he's in the jacuzzi, and the balls just like surface. He goes, "Oh my god, you could race the Titanic with these guys."
Yeah. It's not one of my features. Big balls, by the way. Not, you know, in a metaphoric sense, I might have big balls, or did. I don't anymore. Kind of an aging, middle-aged. Well, middle-aged? Am I middle-aged, Brad? I don't even know what I am.
David, don't remind me. This is the one part of the movie that I've blocked out over life.
Fills the pastries. That cannot be good.
Yeah, sort of like they kind of make like to get back at the preppy frat of the movie. They make these nice eclairs type of desserts. You know, some cream-filled donuts. And they're eating them and everything like that, and they're like, oh my god, it's still warm. And at the bottom of the basket is a picture of the dog basically getting milked for the inside. It's the grossest thing in the world, and I don't eat anything like that because of it.
Guess it adds a little saltiness to it.
High in protein, though.
Yeah, so that's gross. But we've got a lot of things to cover here today. But I did want to bring up, did you read all those articles that are coming out about Mike Myers? How he fired
Mike Myers from Halloween, or the SNL actor?
SNL.
Gotcha.
You're not allowed to look him in the eye or you get fired. What kind of weird shit's that? I know that the Howie whatever Mandel shit where he washes his hands incessantly, but some prick who's like,
well, Howie's a germaphobe, so yeah, that makes sense. He washes his hands.
No, that's fine. He can't help himself.
Yeah.
But Mike Myers is like, you look me in the eye and you lose your job.
Do you know who I am?
I mean,
I'm Austin Powers.
Is that really true? And if it is true, what a fucking dipshit. What an idiot. I used to respect that guy. I thought he was a funny dude, and now I think he sounds like kind of an asshole.
I guess since we're talking about Hollywood to an extent here, I just saw on Twitter that Disney's is mulling over the concept of making a live action Moana, the movie that just came out like 7 years ago. Moana, not even probably.
I don't know what the fuck Moana is.
And it's like, how creatively bankrupt is Hollywood? They're insanely creatively bankrupt. They're just, well, let's see what 20-year-old IP can I remake, or can I do this? Oh my god, just something new, please, for the love of God.
No. I mean, the only good stuff you get to watch are these series that you see on, like, I mean, I'm enjoying watching The Mandalorian on Disney. Every Wednesday, the new thing. But, as far as like movies, Jesus, how do
Well,
you not
BMR,
know?
he's about 15 years out of his kid's range from watching that movie. So Derek's probably not frequently watching Disney Plus movies.
So BMR wants to know Moana. I don't know why. I have no idea what that is. And no, I don't watch a lot of. Is it a series? Is it a movie?
It's an animated movie.
Oh, animated. Well, there's even less chance I'm going to watch.
I mean, it's just like any of the cartoons that come out of Disney. I mean, it's a good movie. Don't get me wrong, but
I mean, when I had kids, I knew all the Disney fucking
exactly.
movies
That's my
that
point.
came
Yeah.
out. But I don't have any kids anymore. My kids have been not kids for a long time, folks.
I wonder if The Rock is gonna take or play his character in the live action movie. I don't know. It'd be the easiest thing because he could do it. He's big enough to play Maui. So
I don't know, and I probably don't care. The band of the day, by the way, is Interpol. If you've not listened to Interpol, they have a really good one out. I think the song's called Fables. Look it up, Interpol. They were badass in the 2000s. Really great fucking band. So go back in time and listen to their early shit. Really good stuff. That is an indie rock recommendation. However, if you don't like indie rock, you know what? Even if you don't, go check it out anyhow. You might like it anyhow. Who fucking knows? By the way, what else we got here? I don't know. We're going to not really cover leads in detail. But I have to say, when you start a lineup, by the way, with no Rodrigo, no Nanto, and no McKenzie, that's pretty much, or McKenny, excuse me. Yeah, God damn it. That's like waving the white flag. You're like, yeah, we're just going to skip this game here. Hey, we're going to go on to the next game. We're going to save the best players for that game. So there's that.
Yeah. So Derek, look away from your screen.
All right, here we go.
Got to get these live. For those who don't have them, there's your bingo card number 1. Bingo card number 2. Ooh, that's definitely the Berlin Amerikaner card. Number 3. And number 4. Okay, you are good. Whoa.
All right.
Don't want to ruin all my good fun here.
All right. Well, we can start the fun because I guess you got
yeah,
plenty of it.
Excellent. Well, I don't have plenty of it. This is actually the least amount of tabs I've had open because not a lot of transfer talk. And our main conversation today is not like a hot off the press news story, but it is about news.
Is it?
It's about news, sure.
Oh, you're talking about the actual topic of the show.
The actual topic, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We'll get into that. Trust me. Yeah, there's plenty to talk about there for sure.
So I wanted to pull this. I've come across some fun ones, but I can't. A lot of the ones I've come across that I absolutely enjoyed coming across was where somebody plays an audio bit, and then like, what do you hear? And they list like 5 different things. And if you say them enough in your head while you're listening to that audio bit, you hear it, and they can be completely different things.
Well,
but it's weird how that works out. It's just like it brings in your head that, and it's funny because if you tell other people, hey, listen to this real quick, do you hear this or this? And they have completely different takes on it. Like, no, I heard this. No, I heard that.
No, it's just all suggestive. That's like that old thing we did in psychology class or media class where one person.
This was the popular one.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, one person starts with one 2-sentence rumor, and then they tell it to somebody else quietly, and they pass it on to the next person, and they pass it on to the next person. By the time it gets to like the 30th person, whatever the sentence or paragraph was at the beginning is completely warped by the 30th or 15th person. It starts getting warped until you get down to like a 1-sentence description of the whole paragraph that doesn't even reflect the paragraph at all. So that's how we got to Moses walked on water, right? That's how we got there. It was like, oh, they passed it around. Dude, it's almost like he walked on water. And then somebody else like, it is almost like you walked on water. And then another guy's like, oh, so he walked on water? Yes, pretty close to him walking on water. And the next guy goes, that motherfucker walked on water. That's what I hear. And that shit becomes, he walked on water. There you go.
Okay. Brian DeMarco says that's telephone, not the same thing.
Okay, yeah.
What?
I think what I'm talking about is telephone. But
Yeah.
they didn't have telephones in the time of Moses, so you might have to rename it. It's
Okay,
called
so I'm
word of mouth.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull one up real quick.
Pull one what up?
One of the things I'm talking about.
Okay. You're gonna pull one up. He's gonna pull one up, people. He's gonna pull it up.
Pull it out.
He's gonna pull
right.
it out now. He's gonna pull it up and pull it out.
Okay, we stop sharing. I gotta share audio on this one. Okay.
All right. What do we got?
All right.
Okay.
You only hear one of the word you are reading. You ready? Here it comes. What'd you hear?
Brainstorm.
So I heard brainstorm first as well, but if you keep saying green needle to your inside your head when you're hearing it, you also hear green needle.
No, I heard green needle too, but I prefer
Okay.
brainstorm.
Yeah.
That makes no sense, green needle. It's just, I'm sorry, I'm cheating. I'm like, who says green needle? Nobody.
Brian DeMarco heard brain needle.
Yeah.
No, I heard brainstorm. Everybody's saying green needle, it seems like.
Well, it's the amazing thing.
That's insane. It's just weird.
No, I mean, listen, this is a good point. I think KRS-One does it on his tours of colleges. I don't know if he does them anymore, but he would say things like, okay, everybody just close your eyes, and I'm going to say a word, and without seeing it, you're going to see it, right? He said, I want you in your mind's eye to picture what would be like a poodle.
Yeah.
All right. Everyone can picture a poodle in their head. You don't need to see a poodle to have it in your brain to see a poodle. You can see a poodle without a poodle physically being in front of you. That's the brain. It's an amazing little thing. So I can see the color. I can say the color green. You don't need to see green. You will see it in your mind's eye. That's an amazing thing. The brain is an amazing thing. Jordan Morris's dog. Green needle is Miss Piggy's description of Kermit's dong. Yeah, probably. Yep.
No, there's another one that I won't be able to play because it's got a clip from what the fuck's that band name? Oh my god, this is gonna kill me.
A band name?
Yeah, one sec. Well, it's just a clip of a song. It's just like 3 or 4 words, but it's looped over and over and over again. And then there's like 5 options you can pick from, and each one of those options are completely different, similar to the green needle brainstorm one. But if you're listening to that over and over and over again, I could pick out every single one of those 5. It's just the weirdest thing to come across.
Excuse me while I kiss this guy. Is that what you're talking about?
Revved up like a douche, you know?
Wrapped up like a douche in the middle of the night. Oh, wrapped up like a douche. That's gross. I don't understand why you would wrap it up. Just douche and let it go down the drain or whatever. You're cleaning stuff out. You know, don't wrap it up after you're done cleaning it out. All right. What do we got here? Replace the 4 letters of both your names with fuck. I'm fuck's fuck. What? Replace the first 4 letters of both your names with fuck. Fuck's fuck. Yeah, that's really short. It's really short. Mm-hmm. I'm fuck because my last name ends with K.
Yeah.
So, and then it's fucky. Fucky. All right.
I've got a T at the end of mine, so mine would be fucked. Fuck it.
I love
fuck
this.
it.
I love this guy below too. He's like, I think I'll just sit this one out.
It took me way too long to work out his name too. On that.
He would be fuck me.
No.
Let's see.
It'd be fuck my
Fallingson. Fuckingson. Yeah.
Fuck my fucking son.
Oh. That's why he sat this one out.
It's like, I'm going to sit this one out, bro.
Okay, I'd never heard of anything like that. That's very unique and interesting. But not, doesn't give me a Woody or anything. All right, what else we got?
We got a fucky. We got fuckins.
I'm glad everybody's pitching in. This is good. This is really good. I'm like, where are we going with this? And everybody's like, well, fuck it. Well, I'm going to do it too. All right. And by the way, we're beyond the 7-minute period, so fuck is on the word. I mean,
yeah, I think I may have ruined that like in the second minute.
Did you?
I think I did. Yes, actually, I know I did, but maybe the algorithm won't catch it.
God damn it, Brett. By the way, tonight I am drinking a Paulaner Salvatore. Paulaner is probably one of the best beer makers in Germany. They've been around since 1634. This is a double bock, which is quite good. It's also 7.9 alcohol percentage. So here we go. Cracking the bottle. Gonna pour it. What else we got here? Go ahead and keep reading.
So Chris Gary says, as we all know, social media activity is the biggest indicator of what players will do. Apparently, Balogun now follows Christian Pulisic on Instagram.
Yep, I saw that today.
All signs indicate USA.
And we'll talk about this more in the main topic area, but the fact that most of us who aren't in the mainstream media already knew this long before. And I don't even know. Has anybody in the mainstream media said that it's very likely Balogun is going to be? Have they finally come out and said it's very likely that Balogun's going to pick the U.S. at this point? Has anybody said that?
I don't know if anybody's jumped the gun on that one yet.
Maybe Jimmy's show?
Maybe.
Jimmy Conrad show? They might have said it. I can imagine Heath Pierce saying that. Or Charlie Davies.
All right, so
your dog's snoring it up tonight.
It's always a good sign for the show. As we're talking, we just hear people snoring. It's never a good sign for us.
All right, Berliner Taylor says, "I meant Derek."
So read Derek instead of Eric.
Derek, U.S. men's national team has had homegrown Champions League quality players in all positions, except at the forward position in the past 10 years. Goalkeeper Cohen at Haifa. Why have we failed to produce one single homegrown center forward? At Eric Winalda. In the last 10 years?
Yeah, okay, never mind. I don't know why you added it there. Maybe he meant to send it to you or something. I don't know. But
did Eric reply? No.
No.
Doesn't seem he did. Why? We've had many theories as to why. But if you want to start out, Brett, feel welcome to do so. Do you have a theory?
Not really. I mean, I don't know. The striker positions, generally speaking, for the most part, would be something that we always spend the big bucks on for MLS. Like MLS is going to go out and pick up either a Euro or a South American striker for the most part. So it's not something that they focus on heavily. But then again, you would think that if they're developing the players through the academy, that if they're that good, they're probably not going to sign with an MLS contract at that point.
What is
just going to wait till they're 18 and move on?
What is the one main position that most teams in the EPL, Spain, Italy, even Germany, struggle to produce and that's center forward. So it's not just us. This is a problem that spans the globe right now. The center forward position in general is not. I mean, the best center forwards in the world outside of Holland are all old men or older, you know? So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Holland's like the exception to the rule. He is like the major center forward who is just a badass. And I can't think of many others outside of that who are 6'2", 6'3", classic center forwards who are dominating in their leagues. I really can't. I can't think of them. I mean, Fultz or whatever his name is scores a lot of goals in the Bundesliga, so he might be one. And I'm sure he's headed to Bayern after this season's over. So, but there aren't a whole lot, and I think that discussion has been had. What has happened to the center forward position in general in soccer? Like we've got so far into this tiki-taka shit.
Yeah.
That,
I was going to say, could it be a change in tactics?
Yeah,
over the course of like the last decade.
Yeah, it is.
More so than anything.
I mean, even Man City has had to kind of change. Pep's had said, yeah, we had to change some things. We haven't played like this since I've been at Man City. This is the first time we played this kind of ball because we have Holland and we can do it. But that's pretty typical. I mean, there's not a massive 6'1", not massive. There isn't a 6'2", 6'1" classic center forward on most major teams. Barcelona, yes, but that's only because the dude's what is he, 32 now? Lewandowski?
About, yeah. He's up there.
Real Madrid has one. I think he's 6'1". But I mean, you look around, that's not the norm. That's just not the norm right now. And I mean, so it's not just us, but I do think we got Sargent, we got Pepe, we could get Balogun. So I think the future's somewhat bright. I mean, I'm very frustrated watching Josh Sargent play with Norwich this weekend because I thought he played fairly well, but they created no real opportunities for him. And then after a while, you have to start wondering, well, then maybe Josh is not getting in the right spots. Because it seems to me in Norwich, for example, they play a lot of the balls to Pookie instead of Sargent, even though they're both playing up top. But Pookie gets all the long balls or the through balls. Why isn't Sargent getting those? But anyhow, that's a whole other story. I don't think we... I had no
idea that Norwich was even broadcasted this week.
Yep. Yeah, you can watch it. ESPN Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I watched it. It was frustrating to watch. They lost, and they're basically twiddle-dicking themselves out of the top 6, which is unfortunate. So, all right, next one.
All right, so me and Chris had a nice little back and forth with a certain post of this weekend.
Taking replies off because you were fucking stupid. Well, don't hold back, Chris.
So she had posted that apparently, and we've died. Let's see. So it was this play with Chelsea.
Yeah, hard for me to see, dude.
Oh, sure. I'm just hoping that was enough for you to see.
Oh, there we go. There we go. What the hell shot was that?
It was garbage tier. But she's saying that if it was Christian Pulisic, y'all would have had every excuse in the book. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, because she's defending what's his face? Who's the guy they signed from Ukraine?
The 108, the 108 million dude.
Yeah, because that's a horrible shot.
It wasn't even a shot. It was a pass back to the goalkeeper. Here you go. You take it.
Here you go. Here, buddy. Have that one. Yeah, if Christian would have missed that, I think we would have all been pretty disappointed, Melina, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who you're listening to, but a lot of us have been pretty critical of Christian not being able to make the same kind of impact he did when he first got to Chelsea. When he got there, he was rocking it for a while. And now, between the injuries and the lack of playing time, I think we've all been pretty critical of Christian Pulisic. So I think you're just wrong, and I don't think you've been paying attention.
There are definitely a number of posters out there that believe Pulisic can do no wrong. They're there on the boards. But yeah, there's plenty of people who have called him out. call them out for some poor play. But then there are plenty of times where people are like chastising Pulisic, and it wasn't his fault, or he wasn't the worst player on the pitch, even though he's being labeled as such.
Well, there we go again. Like all topics, we have three main categories. We've got category A, Christian Pulisic can do no wrong. Well, that's a dumb shit fucking category to put yourself into.
I'm sure there are definitely people that would do that.
Category 2, Christian Pulisic can be good, and he can be bad sometimes. That's number 2 category. Then there's the other third dumbass category. Christian Pulisic is awful. He's a piece of shit, and he should be shoveled into a horse barn. All right, along with all the horse manure. Those are 3. There's only one good way to go here, and that's the middle one.
So it's not right? 2. So, and again, I don't have a problem with her take here. She's more than welcome to voice that opinion across the interwebs. But here's my thing. Don't turn off your comments. If you're going to say something arguably dumb, don't turn off your comments. Take your lumps or just stick to your guns. If you're going to troll people, then troll people.
Well, I mean, it is Ukraine. And like Russia, they like to censor things. I understand they're in a war, so they don't like any opposition. That's why they're doing it. But I just think that that's not the way to go. If you want to have a discussion with somebody about this, then don't turn off anybody's right to disagree with you. Now, and Chris, that's why Chris said taking replies off because you are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I mean, that's just chicken shit mostly. And I don't know why she would do that, but that was a horrible shot by any standard. And if Christian would have made a horrible shot like that, I would have said, "Oh my God!" It would have been one of these. Oh Jesus!
Come on.
It's
Twitter's not going to be a fun place to come back to. Shit.
It's kind of like what I do every weekend with Aronson. Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
So yeah, got to be fair, got to be critical, people. You can't take your hat off and say he's great at everything. I wish he could rub my ball sack, and you can't go, that guy's a fucking piece of garbage, horrible, worst player that ever played. Like that, those two positions are stupid. I'm sorry. The truth is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what you'd find, again, I don't think there's a single American player out there where everybody's on board with saying, oh yeah, he was the best player on the pitch. He was the best player on the pitch. He was the best player on the pitch. Every game, even Weston, Adams, even when Adams has a good game, there's plenty of people writing his dick on that. So no, it's not like Christian could do no wrong. I feel like the vast majority of posters who post about him generally bitch about his play when it's bad.
He had very little opportunity to do a lot of wrong in the 10 minutes that he played or 8 minutes that he played this weekend. And bye-bye, Graham Potter. Bye-bye. Too bad. I like Graham Potter as a person, but whatever the issue was, his players wouldn't play for him. They wouldn't play for him. And, I mean, for the amount of money Chelsea's spending on that group of fucking prima donnas, you'd think that they'd be able to perform on occasion more often, I would say.
There's a string of games recently, just prior to this game, like a couple. I don't even know how this game ended, to tell you the truth.
It was almost a blip, though.
I knew that Pulisic wasn't lying to play at all because he had the flu or whatever. But there was a string of 3 games where they were playing well.
They played all right, yeah.
But that was 3 games in the entire season.
Yep, so. And then went back downhill, and this is a game. I mean, it's Villa. It's Villa. Aston Villa. And you're playing at home. How can you be this bad? But then that's got to be on Potter because some of the guys that he started failed him miserably. So after you got guys that fail you miserably time after time and you continue to try them out or stick them back in after you pulled them out, that's getting pretty sexual, for a couple games, learn your lesson, Potter. But, Potter will probably end up at Leicester. And then the funny thing is that Rodgers will probably end up at Chelsea. They're just going to swap teams. I mean, that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that. I think I put it on
Berhalter's
Twitter.
looking for a team.
Who?
Berhalter.
Who?
Berhalter.
Who dat?
Who dat? Berhalter could go to, coaching.
Oh, you talking about?
That's lacking an ability of creative attack.
You talking about Triple G?
Triple G.
I hear that Jesse was considered for the Leicester thing. I'm like, no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
He had posted. He talked somewhere like he's taking some time to himself and like reevaluating his options moving forward, which basically just screamed that USSF called and said, "Hey, we're probably gonna bring you on board," or something along those lines. So, I don't think I think he's basically lined up there.
Yeah, and then there's the option of him reshooting a new version of the Behind the Green Door. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Always an option. We had some MLS news. Well, not news. I mean, from a source, I guess.
I'm not surprised, and I doubt a price cut will help much, he says, to this. Sources, Apple TV, are very worried about the amount of MLS season pass subscriptions sold to start the season. According to my source, they have met just 40% of their initial projection. We could have told them that.
Mm-hmm.
We told them that. We told them that would happen, and yet both of us are subscribers. All right, so we're not part of the problem.
The channel's a subscriber, Derek.
I mean, we did our part, right?
Yeah, you know what? This is another thing too, because I didn't realize this when we paid for the MLS season pass, is that it doesn't include all the content on Apple TV. It just includes MLS.
Right.
So we're gonna rewatch the Ted Lasso before starting the third season, and we got through the first episode because you can watch one episode for free, and then the second episode's like, "Hey, you got to pay for this." I'm like, "I'm already paying the $99 for the year for the MLS. This doesn't get included." No.
So
I had to chalk up another $6.99.
Ted Lasso's on Apple?
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder I've never watched it. I should now that I got a subscription.
Now that you've got it, Derek, you can watch it.
I watched the first season on like pretty questionable places. So maybe I'll just watch the rest of it on actual real like Apple TV. We'll see how it goes. I do think the coverage has been good. I think that the who did they have last night? Shit. I mean, the regular Weeby was there.
Yeah.
And then you had Sasha. Then you had the gal whose name I'm never going to remember. And then we had the ex-Cosmos goalkeeper from like the 70s and 80s was there. That was great. He was really entertaining, the old guy. See, pro old guy bias there. Although he's way older than me. He's in his 70s.
Starts with an S. His last name starts with an S.
God, my brain sucks. I'm so old, my brain sucks. I can't remember shit that I would easily remember like 10 years ago. Anyhow, yeah, I thought the coverage has been really good. I thought a lot of the TV shots were good. The replays have been good. The coverage has been good. But listen, you had a product going into the season that was on sketchy ground when you had TV broadcasts on major networks like ESPN and Fox. And now you expect, after years of sketchiness on major networks who didn't promote you at all, really, granted, to have then go to absolutely no promotion at all on Apple Plus, and you're expecting things to be good. I mean, I don't know what geniuses are running Apple, but I mean, they should have just looked at the numbers and they would have known this was going to be a slow crawl.
Not only that, but T-Mobile has, I guess T-Mobile, you probably get a 3-year subscription there. If you're a season ticket holder, you got free subscription there. So, I mean, you take those two people, the T-Mobile, you don't know how many people are actually MLS fans who have T-Mobile, but take the MLS season ticket holders out of the equation, and then you're really just looking at how many people are going to pay $100 just for that.
Yeah. I mean, I also hear that anybody that's given Don Garber a reach around in the last 50 years also gets it for free.
Hey,
so, that's like 12.
I might pay for this then.
It's like 12 people. $100 for only MLS. I paid $50 for Paramount Plus with more leagues than I can care to watch. I agree. I have both.
Mm-hmm.
And Paramount Plus is pretty good. My only problem with Paramount is the CBS app sucks. If it's on CBS, like today's national basketball final for March Madness, I can't watch it because CBS's app fucking blows balls. Like Roku can't get it. My fucking phone can't get it. My laptop can't get it. I don't know what they're doing at CBS, but it's all fucked up. It's all fucked up. But I'm not the only one. I looked into it. Shut messing. Thank you, Lou. Thank you, Lou. Before I lost my fucking mind trying to remember that. God,
Well, you said Sepp, and I'm like, it's not Sepp, but I was spacing it too.
He was really famous in the late 70s, early 80s for taking half nude photos, mostly nude photos of his hairy body, you know, with the ball here, and he's kind of leaning. Yeah, he did a lot of like, I think he was in Playgirl. Was that Playgirl? Might have been. I don't know. He was in a magazine and he did.
It would have been weird if he was in Playboy. So
he did some nudies, or mostly nudies. I think they may have blocked out his junk on the photos. You know,
just the balls sitting there.
No, the whole junk, the whole package, not just the balls.
No, no, the soccer ball is there.
The soccer, okay, the soccer ball. My bad. All right. I'm not surprised. I doubt a price cut will help much. I agree with them. I don't think it's at this point. You've made the price. You got to stick with it for a season. You can reduce it next year if you want, and if you want to, retreat from this $100 shit. But yeah.
Well, so we paid $99 for the year for the MLS season pass. If you don't pay by the year, it's like $15.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, regular Apple TV is like $6.99 or something, $5.99 or $6.99 or something like that a month. Why wouldn't you, in that sense, try to piggyback on both? Because you're trying to get as many people on there as possible. So why not say, hey, it's $6.99 for Apple TV, it's $10 for Apple TV and MLS Plus. I know that's like obviously $10 less a month or however much it is compared to the yearly rate, but I feel like you'd pull in more subs that way by combining your content as a whole, because there's not enough content. I mean, as much as content as they've posted on there, and you can follow some of the teams' content. And that's one of the things they pushed is like, hey, every team has to have kind of like not a social media presence there, but a content generating area, that they're posting videos, they're posting interviews and stuff like that, just to add more content. But I mean, having their entire library of content, because Apple doesn't have that large of a library anyways, but you add that along with it for a little hike in price, I think you'd get more people.
I do think you just broke the record for using the word content. The most in 30 seconds.
For only 30 seconds? God, I felt like 2 minutes.
I got, with my new phone, I got Apple TV Plus for free.
There you go. Look at that.
So I just got a new phone. And I already had it. So I'm God damn it.
So you have T-Mobile then, huh?
No, this is Verizon. It's
Verizon's
sort of.
got it too, huh?
Yeah, all I had to do was add like $10 to my bill, or $5 to my bill, for like 4 different channels, and I got them on my new buy for my new phone. I don't even know what the channels are. I'm just like, yeah, fuck it, give them to me. I don't care. I'll figure it out. All right, what else we got?
We're sticking to the same category here. So obviously there are a number of people on Twitter that are taking MLS Gone Wild, their statement, and saying like, well, no shit, we've been telling you this, et cetera, et cetera. Some of them are just downright MLS haters, which fine.
Mm-hmm.
So then you start seeing memes like this, where it's like American soccer fan constantly hating on MLS. Why isn't soccer growing in America?
I don't know what to say that at this point. I mean, if you're out there and you're really worried about people criticizing MLS, and you're making memes like this, then I think you've lost the mark. And then if you are just an MLS hater, again, we go through 3 options here again, right? We did it earlier. We go, MLS sucks balls and it fucking is a big piece of shit and it should be shoved up the ass of a giant buffalo. That's not a good option. Option 2, MLS has some promising young American players. It's a growing league and a promising league that is headed in somewhat of the right direction. And I'd like to see it keep, continuing to grow and get better. Would I like to fix a lot of things? Sure. Are they going to get fixed anytime soon? Probably not, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I'd like to see the changes. Am I going to get them? Probably not. And then there's the other one. MLS is the bomb. MLS is the best league. MLS is a lot better than you think it is. MLS is so good. Fuck you guys. No, the answer is always right here in the middle. And that's where we need to have some common sense here. It isn't shit, and it isn't the God's gift either. It's not the best thing since Wonder Bread. It's got a lot of growing to do and a lot of work to become what we hope it will be, which is one of the better leagues in the world, maybe top 7 league, maybe top 6. I don't know. It's got work to do.
I would settle for a consistently developing league where they develop the players and then just sell them on.
Yeah, like Holland.
I would settle for that, because will we ever be competing against, the Europe's top 5 as far as
no
hand for players? It's not going to happen.
But we could become a Holland.
The competitions aren't here. Yeah, we could be more like a Holland in that sense, where you develop players and for the most part you're shipping them off, or any other country, and if you're not one of the top 5 for the most
and
part.
I'm specifically picking Holland or maybe Brazil or Argentina, and I'm not picking Mexico, for instance. I don't want to become Mexico because they don't sell anybody. They hold on to their players for dear life, and they won't let them go. Yeah, and then they overprice them. So we don't need to do that. I want to be more like Holland or Brazil or Argentina. I don't want to be like Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I think Belgium's a step down. I think we can do better than Belgium, and I want to do better than Belgium. And I think we're pretty close to being Belgium.
As far as the quality of the league.
Yeah.
Maybe
I think the bottom teams in Belgium are fucking god awful. They would struggle in MLS. But the top half of the Belgian league's pretty goddamn good. Not bad. Soccer isn't growing in America because people are insecure about criticizing MLS. I don't think that's true either, Jasper, but people, I don't think their insecurity necessarily is why we aren't growing. I do agree with you that they are insecure about MLS. There are insecurities there, but I don't think that's not why we're not growing, because I think we are growing. It's just not as fast as people would like to see. Listen, I go back 5 years, 10 years, when the league started in 94 or 95, Brett and I were there. The league was shit. It was complete garbage. It was a joke. It was a laughing stock. They had fucking soap opera stars playing for Los Angeles Galaxy, and I'm not even kidding. He did. He played for the Los Angeles Galaxy. I can't remember the guy's name. And then we went through a whole period of having one big star on every team, and everybody else got pennies. All right, well, we're getting beyond that. Things are getting better. Pay has increased. We're getting MLS academies now that are pumping out some good players and good young players, some of which are getting actual playing time and making a difference. So we are growing. It isn't that we're not growing. It's just maybe we're not growing like we would want to see. We would like to see it go faster.
And I will take this comment in the sense that what's hindering some growth is people's insecurity about when people criticize the league. So you can start criticizing the league. Let's just say you are a legit MLS hater. I don't like MLS. It's not promotion relegation.
Okay.
You got these Mickey Mouse rules. Tam Gam. What the fuck is that? There's still discovery rights. Are you really going to discover a 29-year-old striker from England? This is bull. This is stupid.
All done.
Never going to like this league. There are definitely those people out there. But then there's just people that on the other receiving end of this that just go ape shit if you don't like it.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that's the majority either. There's definitely a fringe on both sides, because there's not a huge swath of people who are like, oh, MLS sucks donkey balls. There's not a huge population of saying MLS is the best. You suck donkey balls.
Well, Brett, the reason I say that insecurity doesn't stop us from growing is MLS doesn't give two fucks what you think anyhow.
Yeah.
They're going to grow at the rate they want to grow, and they're going to do it whether you like it or you don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care. Like to them, you're just peripheral noise. They don't care. And even if it's positive noise, they're like, well, yeah, it should be positive. We're the fucking bee's knees. So either way, whether it is all this joyous, captivating, loving of MLS, or it's the other side, people fucking hating on MLS, MLS does not care. All they're interested is TV deals, global money making, and making money. That's all they care about. And all that shit's peripheral to them. Like, having nice things said, having bad things said, they don't care about either of those things. They really don't.
And I mean, and MLS is obviously going to depict how fast they want to grow, because they don't want to just offer the sky to the players, because the next CBR, what are they going to ask? They're going to ask for more. And you can't give them more. So it's going to be a slow and steady growth as we develop. And that's perfectly fine when you consider that the league, I mean, we're still we're talking about
95
some odd years here. 20,
yeah.
20
28 years. 28 years, 29 somewhere.
So I mean, it's getting there, and you can see the academies are developing, they're growing from that point on, and we'll get there to a point where we're developing quality players. They're moving on to bigger, better things that may not be MLS, but then there's going to be a number of MLS academy players that remain in MLS, and it's going to be a stronger league. It's just going to take time, and it's not going to be an instant gratification.
Yeah, I mean, MLS got to figure out a lot of small things, including, for instance, the new hot thing, which is for talented young players not signing with MLS. They go play in USL for a season, and then they go abroad. Well, that's on MLS's stupid setup and stupid system.
Stop doing the stupid 3+2 contracts. Just
exactly.
Sign it. Talk to the player. Oh, you want to play for MLS? Oh, you're 17. You want to move out in 18. Let's sign you for a 2-year contract. You'll get your shot, and then we'll readdress the contract after that point, or we'll sell you.
Right. And
that's money. It's money they're missing out on.
Well, it's also playing time. They're more likely to get playing time in USL, right, than they are in MLS right now. And even though that's gotten a lot better than it was 6, 7, 8 years ago, where we are seeing young players play who are American and coming up through the academies and not even American all the time. We didn't see that at all a while back, but pretty much players like Jonathan Gomez could guarantee themselves by going to Louisville that they were going to get playing time and they could move on to Real Sociedad without any real hampering, without any roadblocks.
But Derek, these 17-year-old kids who want to go to Europe could sign with MLS and play in MLS Next Pro for a year. And
don't even bring up Next Pro, Brett. You know I fucking hate that shit. I mean, it was funny. I got my Apple Plus and I was going through it, and then it had an MLS Next Pro section. I'm like, fuck that. And I skipped right on by it. Fuck that fucking little boy soccer league that they have there. Lou Coutry says, for $9.99, thanks, brother. We really do appreciate your support. MLS shouldn't have set up a cable network. Should have set up a cable network like MLB, NBA, NFL, and NHL networks. It wouldn't have been the best way to reach the masses. It would have been. God damn it, why am I so negative?
It's difficult.
It would have been the best way to reach the masses. A premium service like Apple just can't do that. And I would agree. Yeah, it should have been a cable network thing. I mean, listen, I know cable's dying eventually. It will die off. Not completely. It'll probably slowly die off like the dinosaurs did over millions and millions of years, or how many millions of years. But it's probably going to be, and this is what MLS was talking about. This is the next generation, right? We want to reach the next generation. People only watch their fucking soccer on their goddamn phones or whatever on their laptop. And so that's what they decided to do. It was the cool thing to do at the moment.
Well, and there's also the discussion of infrastructure as a whole. I mean, the concept of just showing a live game would be simple enough if you don't want to have an archive for people to go back and rewatch later. Because then if you start talking about archiving, then MLS would have to have either a cloud-based system where they're paying for that space, or they would have to actually have the physical setup, and that costs money. So it's easier just to say, well, somebody else can run this. We'll just accept X amount of dollars and go from there instead of having just a whole system themselves.
On Apple Plus, there aren't on-demand playbacks. You have to watch highlights. I haven't been able to find on-demand playbacks.
I guess I've only ever caught the Chicago games live, so I don't know. I haven't actually gone back.
No, I went back. I wanted to watch some other games, but I could only watch the highlights.
Well, damned.
Then
I will say that MLS is scheduling how they have it scheduled, like they have all the games fucking playing at the same time, is even dumber now.
Yes,
because if you can't go back and rewatching, and I've not looked, but if you can't go back and rewatch it, then what's the point? You're not going to grow the league that way.
Yeah, and I might be a moron, and that's wrong. I might just not be able to find it. But I mean, I tried to find some games that I wanted to go back and watch, and all I could do was watch the highlights. There was no on-demand section where you could go back and watch games that were done. The whole game. I want to watch the whole game. I couldn't do it. So, all right. If you know an answer to that, let us know. I should probably turn on the comments. Maybe.
I'm keeping an eye. I mean, I don't get to keep an eye on a lot because I was trying not to make the chat go too far because I had a couple of super chats here. But
yeah, folks, I don't turn on the comments often because it's distracting to me. All right, Zach E 499. So Brett does it. I feel like it would be hard for MLS to be Netherlands league quality until soccer is somewhat close to being a number one sport in America. I don't know, Zach. I don't think that's necessary because of our population size. There's like plenty of fans to go around for each sport, right? So there's so many people in the United States.
He might be referring to the quality of soccer itself. So like the players that are choosing soccer over, say, playing baseball or basketball or American football.
I don't think that's an issue going forward. I really don't. Because listen, you have to be a fucking physical freak to play basketball. You have to be like 6'3" and up. Period. End of story. There are rare players.
6'3".
Rare players under that size playing basketball. Football is notoriously being dinged for injuries for young players. And lots of young players now don't play football because of those injury issues to the head. Not that soccer doesn't have.
Doesn't say.
Well.
Yeah, there's definitely studies that say soccer has just as many concussions.
And Little League,
they get swept under the rug too.
Little League baseball's dead. I'm sorry. I have historical shots of Bloomington, Indiana, from the 1950s and 60s all the way through the 70s. There was a fucking baseball lot in almost every neighborhood. A baseball lot. By the 1980s, they were fading away. By the 90s, they were almost gone. And then there were only these by the 2000s, only specific places to play baseball in Bloomington. And that is not just Bloomington. That's almost every small town and city in the United States. Baseball is a dying American sport. You're going to find a lot more Dominicans and Venezuelans and Japanese players. There are going to be fewer and fewer and fewer Americans and fewer African Americans playing baseball. And that's just a statistical fact. So hockey, that's pretty much a northern cold person sport. I don't think it's going to grow any more than it is right now. I think
it's about. Well, I mean, I can't speak for it completely, but I don't see it growing any more than it already has. But then that's not too much. That's not too bad of a thing, quite frankly. Because
they're still up there, stuck where they are. So
I mean, I guess the big talk was always when you hear all the people like, oh, just imagine if all of our athletically gifted players and sport, all the sport brains. LeBron James, all these players played soccer instead of basketball or instead of playing football. And I'm like, it's never about the stars of those leagues on whether or not they would have played. I mean, could you imagine LeBron actually playing soccer?
He could play goalie. That's about it.
I don't even know if he could do that. I mean, maybe he would have been built differently if he played goalkeeper instead of playing basketball. But what hurt the most, I guess, is all those in between players that may have gone all the way through college, but never went beyond. That were very gifted, very technically gifted, very physically gifted, but just not quite the mold, if you will. Those people who kind of got pushed aside for ex-players here and there. Now, if they played soccer instead, we might actually have a larger talent pool as far as skill level. But then again, you never know how they develop accordingly. But it's all question mark. But
I think the major worry, Brett, more than anything else, is the fact that this new generation is way less interested in sports in general. That's a statistical fact as well. And then you can worry about that going forward. But in general, I don't think that soccer needs to be close to the number one sport to continue to grow. It is still the number one youth sport. There are lots of other things that could be fixed, and it doesn't need to be number one. It's never going to pass the NBA and the NFL. That's
Well,
just
just
as far as eyeballs go.
and
Eyeballs.
given our population as a whole, we could, in theory, still be a fourth or fifth tiered team or tier sport and still compete with some of the big boys in that sense if we improve youth development, improve coaching as we develop.
And we got millions of eyeballs on soccer now.
Mm-hmm.
Millions. So it isn't like people don't care about soccer anymore. I'll tell you a time when people didn't talk about soccer. That was like 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It was really difficult to find anyone who knew anything about soccer. Now you can go to work and there's like 4 or 5 people out of a staff of 20 who know something about soccer. Some of them a lot. That was not the case 20 years ago. I can tell you that. You were the only person in the office that watched soccer, and everybody thought you were kind of weird. Derek is right. Never beat MLB should be the goal. I don't know, David D. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I don't know if it's a goal because MLS doesn't
It's
seem to
naturally
have
going to happen, quite frankly.
MLS doesn't really set a lot of goals like that. I mean, they just kind of do things, it looks like, on a whim at times. So I don't know if they're that focused, but I mean, they did name the league after Major League Baseball. That was how they named Major League Soccer. They stole that acronym and added an S instead of a B at the end. So, I mean, at least they didn't call themselves the Premier League. Yeah. Thank God for that. I mean, the Premier League wasn't around yet, but everybody and their grandmother now is calling themselves the Indian Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
The Scottish Premier League. Well, there's not much premier about the Scottish Premier League beyond 2 teams, but that's okay.
The Scottish League. Scottish Soccer League.
Used to be called the Scottish First Division. They should have just stuck with it, but oh well. It makes it sound like the championship these days. All right, what else?
I guess, but I mean, it's a brand. I mean, at that point, it's kind of branding a topic when you talk about what name.
Yeah, it's branding.
I mean, what would a league? I mean, obviously you have like USL, which is what U.S. Soccer League.
Yeah,
what the USL says, or they haven't had to really
USL, but they just go by USL Championship, USL League 1, and USL League 2 now. So
yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a branding in that sense, because what would you call a league that's kind of I guess just like creative and new here in the States? Can't just say U.S. Soccer League. I mean, that's kind of what USL was, I guess. Never take that back, but North American Soccer League. But
the badass league.
Yeah. America League.
We kick your ass, League 1. I don't know. They could come up with something.
I was kind of, even though they took the acronym from Major League Baseball and Major League Soccer, but at least it kind of differentiates it from the rest of the world, like you were saying earlier.
Yeah. So. I mean, yeah, you could come up with something, I'm sure, the American Shizzle Dizzle Soccer League or whatever. Add some fancy words in there.
We should call it the National Football League. That's right. League. No problems whatsoever there.
Starring Tom Brady. Yeah. All right.
Instead of the XFL, it's the XLS.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds like a bowel issue movement. That's what the XLS sounds like. All right, let's move on to our main topic. No?
We're an hour into it. Why not?
Can we play that video of Pulisic and McKennie totally dissing the mainstream press as a starter for this? Yeah.
Do you call the timestamps you want to pull up, or are we just?
No, because it was just like the whole thing.
All right. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on the timer, because
I mean, I want people to keep an eye out for the following. them having absolutely zero respect for the people asking questions and taking this as a completely joke to them. And why are they like this? Let's do it.
I skipped ahead to right before they start looking at each other. So that's a good sign.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Actually,
thanks, Michael, and hey, Wes and Christian. Since I got both of you, I gotta ask: would either of you be willing to explain the choreographing of that celebration, and if there was any significance behind it?
All right, you can skip this one because, yeah, that's the only question. But they wouldn't answer it for obvious reasons.
Wes's face.
Yeah, I mean, they're just totally not interested in this at all.
When you're watching the stuff he's kind of doing like in the first half and kind of just taking guys on and really controlling the game as a teammate, what are your kind of like reactions to that? And how do you kind of make sure to kind of keep a guy like that in that zone and keep him creating the way he was in that first half? Yeah, Christian wants to hear it, so I figure I'll give it to him.
And this is where the press is actually asking McKenney to give Pulisic metaphoric fellatio live during an interview. You know, that's what this is. And it's ridiculous. This guy plays such a great game. I mean, what do you say when you see that? And how do you keep a guy like that in such a zone? He's playing Grenada, motherfucker. Grenada. Keep that in perspective. And that's why they're fucking giggling and laughing. This guy's a clown.
He does start. I think he does start this answer off with like, well, that's what we come to expect with him. You know, him to. I would have jumped on and said, yeah, and if he doesn't play like that, then he's got to get his shit in gear.
No shit, we're playing Grenada, motherfucker. Here we go.
I mean, to be completely honest, it's what I expect of him, and you know, for him to be able to do it consistently and
I better give an actual answer
zone, here. It always helps the team out in the best way because you know he's one of the players on our team that can create.
Yeah, well, he's just. Yeah, continue. I wouldn't skip forward on this because this shit's funny. Yeah. It gets funnier by the second as they go on, but keep going.
Things and can make things happen. So just to see him having fun and just playing his game and with the confidence that he has, it's amazing. So hopefully we can look forward to many more like that.
We'll go to Sanjay Sujan Fakumar.
Everybody could find a guy. If everybody could find somebody to look at them like Wes just looked at Pulisic, it'd be a nicer world.
Who's this next guy I've never heard of? Sanjay Fukuma. Have you heard of this guy?
No.
Go back like 1 second. Sanjay Fukuma is this guy. I've never heard of this.
Well, I'm pulling it back. Go ahead and hit the super chat.
Yeah, I will. All right. The curvy yellow, who suspiciously could be somebody else.
I mean, that's a fabulous a picture for the show.
It is. It is
great podcast. If you got a podcast going, that's awesome.
So curvy,
even new.
Curvy, we're going to say thank you for the 5. We appreciate it very much. A curvy yellow is a little weird because it's not straight. So maybe you didn't take your Viagra. I don't know. But anyhow, why do you? The floppy yellow. Why do you think soccer is the #1 youth sport, but isn't there after youth ranks? What causes the drop off? Pay to play? Just wondering your thoughts. Wow, boy, we've talked about this quite a bit over the years. So I guess we'll hit it right now. It's the #1 sport because right now it's sort of the most accessible sport. Like baseball requires an expensive mitt and a glove and a baseball bat. I mean, I'm sure the teams have them too. But it's a dying sport, and a lot of parents don't want their kids involved in football.
Baseball. What?
Yeah, baseball.
I thought you were talking about soccer. I was like, no, what are you talking about?
No, baseball's a dying sport. Football's a dangerous sport. And NBA, you have to be a freak to even think you're going to play in the NBA. A serious freak, a freak of nature, like a 6'6" ginormous human being. Those things are not normal yet. I mean, we're still the average man's height at a full age is 5'11". So,
Shrimp. No.
Hey,
no,
that's what I be.
well, let's be honest to the point. the reason why it's the number one youth sport is because parents especially at the younger ages, parents just want an activity that the kids are running a lot.
Right.
They want them to get out. They want them to socialize, but they want them to run out a lot of energy. So when they get home, it's not as hectic. So yeah,
right.
You think of putting a kid in a sport? Of course, come fall, come spring, you're like, well, soccer's here. We're gonna throw them in there. That's gonna get them this, and then we do this during this time period. There's a reason why a lot of kids cycle through a bunch of different sports at the younger level. But it's number one youth sport because, again, to your point, it's very accessible. Every backwater city or town has a league or a rec program that you can participate in. So, I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot.
Yeah. And why do they drop off, Brett?
They drop off because either they just played the sports as youths to work off some energy, or they pick other sports,
or they
stop playing sports. Period.
Yeah, or they join band.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Other stuff to take their time.
Yeah, I mean, this country's not a crazy soccer country yet, and so most kids don't know their local MLS team from a hole in the wall, and if you're lucky, they might know Messi or Ronaldo or something like that, or they played FIFA, on their video games, so they know all the players. That might keep them in it, but there's no guarantee in that. So,
yeah, and it really, a lot of times it also depends on what your particular friends are playing. As kids grow up, if their friends are playing basketball, then that kid's more likely to play basketball.
Or if your friends are playing Dungeons and Dragons,
yeah,
you're more likely to go play Dungeons and Dragons. Or if all your friends are playing video games, you're probably going to go play video games instead of going to some other activity.
It's like I remember at a time back in the 90s when playing stuff like Dungeons and Dragons or video games for that matter made you a nerd, and you got made fun of for that shit. Now it's everywhere. Everybody does it.
And
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like how popularized it all became.
Yeah, I mean, lots of soccer players have been talking about playing FIFA for at least the last 12 years, 13 years. It's very common. Video games, very common for all. So, yeah, there's some challenges coming up, but there's no single answer. It's a lot of answers. It's the same reason the Army, or one of the comparable reasons why the Army can't recruit healthy 18-year-olds who are in good shape to join the Army, because kids have different interests now, and they have for probably the last decade or more. So, all right, let's continue.
We'll go to Sanjay Sujan Fakumar.
There it is, Fakuma.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, guys, for doing this.
He looked
Question
at him
for
like,
Wes.
what
Wes, so Anthony alluded to this when he was talking about where Luka played tonight. What was it like to play next to another holding midfielder? And also, what's it been like to play with Tyler in a double pivot at least?
And he's going to point this out, but there's like at least 3 questions all in that. Quick little bit,
How do you like to play double pivot? How's Tyler doing?
Something about the game too, I think.
And the game, yeah.
Is that something that you guys have talked about translating to the national team? Have you talked to Anthony about that as well?
He's like, what the Fukama did you just say?
Not gonna lie, that question was all over the place, but I'm gonna try my best. No, so the first question was about playing with Luka, right? Yeah, okay. No, it's nice. I mean, we have a lot of midfielders like Luka.
Oh
Eunice,
God! And then he names every
Johnny,
fucking midfielder that they have
Tyler,
on the squad.
all types of midfielders that can fill in and step in the role easily. And it was comfortable. I mean, we have a good understanding. I've known Luka for just as many years as I've known Christian.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's like the question is like, did you guys talk to Hudson about this? I'm like, hey, we have this game plan. We did this at Leeds for a couple games before this window where he played with a double pivot. I think that kind of worked here. Let's try that.
Hey, Hudson, let's do what we do at Leeds, baby. Yeah, that came up. Sure it did.
Yeah. Hudson's like, let's strive for something better.
What the Fukama is that question? That's all I got to say. He sounds like a nice guy. But
yeah. So it's the same thing with Farga. It's just it's something we're latching onto.
I mean, all I gotta say is like how much cocksucking can go on in an interview. Like you cannot. They just beat Grenada. Let's settle down here. Let's not talk about how wonderful these two gentlemen are. They are wonderful guys. They're good players, but there's no need to like slobber knob these dudes so heavily.
Well, yeah. Why not specify? Say, hey, you guys got the win on the road. That's great, but our next opposition against El Salvador is going to be significantly tougher.
Right.
What do you think? Is anything going to change with the game plan? How are you guys going to play?
Yes.
Do you think this is going to be more challenging? That type of shit. Come up with something like that. This is fluffy softball shit. Is just.
Do you guys think that a 4-2-3-1 will be just as effective against El Salvador as it was against Grenada? If not, what kind of changes do you see happening? I know that's up to the coach, but did you feel comfortable playing that double pivot, McKenny? I mean, how do you think the change in the system, Pulisic, benefited you in today's game? And do you think that it will also benefit you versus El Salvador? The changes in the system were very different. We could have talked about how they got more freedom to play. Nobody asked a fucking question.
Yeah. Like we've seen you in the double eights with Berhalter.
Yeah,
we saw you out wide more in the World Cup. Now we're seeing you at the double pivot. Is there a specific position that you feel more comfortable playing, that you like playing? Does playing that double pivot allow you to get up and attack enough? Because that's where your strength is.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that with some insight into what has just happened on the field, which was a major change by Hudson in the way we play and the way we set up. And nobody focused on that. It's just a fucking slobber fest all over these two guys who have no respect for you. For slobbering all over them. No respect. They're laughing at you for these questions.
Hey, Weston, I see that you've got a tattoo sleeve on your left arm, and so does Pulisic. Did you guys plan this out? Was there an email earlier saying, hey, I'm going to do this, you do that?
We both prefer our left arms and hands. We both prefer the left. All right. Oh, man, this is so bad.
So, I mean, it was natural. It felt good. As far as Tyler, devastating what happened, obviously, but playing with him at Leeds and then talking about playing together, it's something that doesn't happen often, but it was looking forward to it. Obviously, we'll have to see what happens moving forward, but hopefully he recovers quick and can get back with us soon.
Now,
that was the best insight right there. Is that he basically says, "Yeah, Tyler and I really don't talk about that."
Yeah. Well, here's the dumbest question coming up. This is just atrocious.
Next is Paul Tenorio from The Athletic.
Oh, it is Paul?
Thanks, Mike.
No, it can't be
this
Paul.
one's for Christian. Obviously, the expectations going into this game were for you guys to get a win. How crucial was it, though, to kind of get that early goal and to end up putting in a performance like you did today to make it decisive and to start off not just this window with a win like this, but the next cycle going forward?
You can skip that one. That's a good question, Paul. Thank God. I'm glad it wasn't you, buddy. Holy shit. It was Paul Tenorio. I'd be like, no,
we
no
came
way.
out really strong.
I'm going to cancel my subscription to The Athletic now, damn it.
Away, so I think they were
So
kind
skip
of
forward a
surprised
little.
by that. And it took our goals well. Go and,
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Here we go. It's the next one.
We'll go to Kyle Vaughn from Sporting News.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time. Congrats on the win. Christian, you talked yesterday that you're always presented with new challenges in these road games. The 7 goals tonight, the most that the U.S. has ever scored away from home, ever. For you, where does that performance rank in your international career? And what was it about tonight's game that you just decided, this one's
you was about to say it.
I'm going to take this one on.
I'll go back to that because I think I missed that part.
You did.
And what was it about tonight's game that you just decided, this one's mine. I'm going to take this one on.
Look at Wes. Like, what did you say?
He's like, you just took this game over, man. You are so awesome, Pulisic. What made you decide that this is my game and you're taking it over, baby? Tell us what was in your mind. And Pulisic's like, that's jack crap. Here we go.
It was again.
It was
it's
a lot of this.
The most scored goals away from home. It was against Grenada, and props to them for coming out and playing and everything like that. But come on,
it's Grenada, dude. Chill out. He's supposed to dominate versus Grenada.
Yeah, one would hope.
I mean, I didn't decide it was mine.
This is my game.
It's my job to help create and score goals and assists for the team.
Yeah, you would. That's true.
That's right.
And, I don't know. I don't think it was an important game for sure. I don't rank it as like one of our best performances ever.
Thank you.
We put in a solid performance, got the job done, and
Thank
So,
you. Okay, that's
I
it.
guess-
We
I
don't
guess-
have to play anymore. But
Yeah, I guess the one thing to consider here is we've all seen them doing pressers with their clubs, and they don't act like this.
No, they do not. No,
So,
they do not. Because they get serious questions, Brett. That's why. Outside of Paul's question, all the other questions were this. Hey, you're so good. Oh, you're so good too. Oh,
So-
we like both of you. Can I jerk both of you guys off? Oh, don't squirt me there. Don't. Oh, you're too early. You're too early. I can't get out of the way. Oh my God, I'm getting it all over my face. I mean, this is what we're talking about here.
Keyboard. I hope to God you clip that. That's just got to go around.
I mean, so ridiculous, dude. Can you
man.
Can you guys give those guys more of a reach around during an interview? Is it possible? So much to the point that they're like, "Shut up!" I did not go to the game and say this game's mine. Pulisic's like, I never said the game was mine. I just went out there and contributed
I'm gonna
like I'm supposed to. Oh my God! Indeed,
DMR says, "Oh my God,
DMR.
Derek."
It's so ridiculous. I mean, I really, it's embarrassing if that is the kind of question. And is it any wonder that this interview was left off U.S. Soccer's website or YouTube page? Wasn't published there. Why?
Yeah, it's on the JER Sports Journalist, the page that nobody would ever find.
No, you cannot.
I mean, of
find
course,
it.
they have 18,000 subscribers. But I mean, I wonder how many of those are actually.
I
soccer.
subscribe. You subscribe, right? Are you subscribed? You better subscribe, Brett.
No, this is the TSRC website or channel, so we're not subscribed. It'll make you feel better. It'll make you feel better.
Subscribe now.
Thank you. He didn't ask for it, so I wasn't going to give it to him.
I'm asking for it. I'm on the
You are
team.
asking for it.
No, I mean, go ahead.
I was just going to say there's a reason why we're returning to this. Because I think we highlighted this a little bit on after the Grenada game. We didn't necessarily. We covered a couple questions, and we talked about how they kind of joked around during this presser, had a little fun. But there's a reason why we're bringing this back up.
Yeah. One of the major reasons is that there is a lack of connection between the players on the U.S. men's national team and the mainstream press. They have, in some cases, not for all of them. I'm not talking about Tenorio. I'm not talking about our friend. I can't call him my friend anymore. I'm talking for years, Jeff Goff. Or I'm not talking about some of the guys that know what the fuck they're doing, like Shredder.
Mm-hmm.
But some of these jokers, they're just done with this shit. They're laughing at these people because they're gonna get puffballs, like total puffball questions. And they're kind of just like, that's why this is such of a joke of an interview, right? And then we get into the fact that a lot of the guys who are doing independent media right now, independent shows, like Pete, like us, like Tact, I'd say those are the three people that are probably the most connected with people who know people at the U.S. men's national team. And I'm not just talking about 29. So everything that we say is not something 29 told us. All right. And it's the same thing for Pete and the same thing for Tact. Tact knows a lot of guys on the U.S. men's national team.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He's not getting his info just from 29, nor is Pete, nor are we. The problem starts here because if we're getting information that tells us 3 days ago, 4 days ago, that Balogun is definitely leaning towards the United States from multiple sources that we have, sources that are not going to give the same information to the standard professional media. That's going to fucking piss them off, right? Because they're not going to have the lead story anymore. We have the lead story. Pete has the lead story. Tact has the lead story.
And I'll say that as it stands now, there's still the current trend that people will more likely believe the mainstream coming out and saying it.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is that if Tact or Pete release it and say, hey, yeah, Balogun's most likely going to sign for or choose the U.S. And then 3 days later, somebody on the mainstream says, yeah, we're hearing from a number of sources that Balogun might sign with the U.S. People are automatically going to be inclined to believe the mainstream media posting rather than just some guy on YouTube or some guy on Twitter saying it. But that's changing. It's starting to change because people are starting to see through the cracks of this system that's been going on forever. And it's just, I think I posted this on, I don't know if I posted on Twitter or I said it to you or something like that. But basically, it's like the dinosaurs looking at the asteroid saying, "Yeah, this is fine. Everything's fine."
I mean, we saw a bit of this when Tack called out the mainstream media for not covering the Balogun story at all for days. And then, Herc said, "Hey, I'm going to cover it. I'm coming to the rescue. I'm going to do it on our show." So we got Herc and Seb, and we got Jimmy, who also talked about it on his show, Jimmy and Davies and Heath. And then you got Tact, Pete, us. Who else covered it? Jake?
I'm sure Jake covered it. Yeah, Jake had covered it.
So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of other shows did too, but I don't watch all of the shows. I can't. It's impossible. I've been seeing a lot more soccer shows come up from independent guys that have like 100 views, 90 views, 50 views. So they're just getting started. So there's no way there's going to be enough eyeballs on that. And there certainly aren't enough eyeballs on us even to make a dent. With like our best shows are like 4,000, 5,000 people, 6,000, 8,000 people watching it, a show. And we're generally not even that high. So we're not going to make a major dent. But I think what we're seeing is, you're right. In some ways, they're not only saying it's okay, the asteroids are hitting, it's no big deal, but what their answer to that is ignore Pete, ignore Tact, ignore whomever, ignore us. Pretend they don't exist. Like, that's the solution. Pretend 29 doesn't exist. 29 goes and does interviews in Europe. Okay? With papers, prominent papers, and people putting out stories. They're not bashful about interviewing 29. They believe 29. And if you don't believe them now, at this point, then you're just foolish, because he just went to the game with Tact, and they took a bunch of photos with not only Wes' mom, but Wes and a bunch of players. Like, it's obvious that 29's not full of shit. He knows McKenny. There are other people that are not as brash as 29 that know players that are telling people things too. We're friends of other players. And they don't want to come out public, but they're willing to share their story, just like 29 does. And there are other agents who are spreading stuff and telling us stuff that they're not going to tell the mainstream media anymore, because the mainstream media ignores it. Just like the story about all of the players who are under a certain agency, Wasserman, who did not want Greg back. Nobody covered that. Like, one source covered that story. So why are they going to go to those sources when those sources are not going to report it? What's the point of going to a source that's not going to report it? So they come to other sources. And I reported it. I put it out there. It's one of our most popular live videos. And other people reported it too. Pete talked about it. Tax talked about it. But, I mean, that's the only way you're going to get fucking real news now, because these other guys don't want to cover that stuff, because it's either going to put them in a bad light with U.S. Soccer and Greg at the time, And so that's going to make them look bad. They don't want to come out and say everybody at the Wasserman agency, most of the players don't want Greg back. They don't want to say that. And they don't want to interview 29. And they don't want to hear what 29 has to say, even though he might provide insight for whatever angle article they're writing about McKinney at the time.
Well, what's funny about that is that they don't have him on there. They even if they believe or don't believe what he has to say, or they don't like the fact that he's saying it in the pattern, the way that he's saying it, or this is stuff that should be hush hush behind the scenes type of talk, but now he's airing out dirty laundry. Why not? And why not bring him on to your platform, and then basically not attack his position, but start pushing back and saying, well, X, Y, and Z. Why go the ignoring route? Because that's just going to fester over here. It's going to grow.
Well,
it's going to infest everything else.
You're talking about actual shows, but nobody has shows that anybody watches of any significance from. I mean, Alexi Lawless's show on YouTube, it's a complete flop.
Yeah, there's a point though with that. There's a lot of times most people's content is eaten up by the podcast aspect of it.
No, I get
YouTube,
it.
But
I understand it.
I have no idea how many views he actually gets on his show, and then you look at YouTube, maybe only gets like 10,000 or whatever in the end. But
I mean, it might be all podcasts because his YouTube numbers for who he is are ridiculously low, and so they're really like there's the NBC guys that have a show that nobody watches. Those guys, I don't know who those three young guys are, but nobody watches that show. It's pretty boring too. No offense to them, two of them are pretty good writers. But anyhow, I guess the point being is, where do you go if you really want to get like ahead of the game and get some inside information? I don't think it's going to be with U.S. soccer mainstream media anymore. They don't even want to cover anything like that. Well, I mean, at least they haven't shown the propensity. They will get out in front of something like the whole Renegade story when they're force-fed information from U.S. soccer, and they'll put out an erroneous report calling it blackmail and other nefarious things. And then they'll go back and correct the article 100 fucking times. But they're not really digging in, I don't think, to some of the other information that, especially any information that doesn't shine brightly on someone like Greg Berhalter. They're just not going to cover that. So I guess that was really my only point tonight about where we're headed going forward. And they're going to still be people, Brett. They're going to call Tact and Pete and even us like know nothings or just spreader of rumors.
Pete merchants and that
but
shit, yeah.
How many times have we been wrong?
Well, you and I are never wrong. That's the thing.
We've maybe eaten crow once on this show.
About Acosta.
In a year and a half. Yeah.
Jasper's got basically the point that we're all kind of alluding to as far as our group.
Okay.
But he says if Tact and Pete or you guys said Flo is committing, he'd believe it, but he'd wait for more credible people to, or even Flo himself to confirm it.
But wait for
not credible. I added that in there, but basically
you
saying
did because we're pretty credible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was a bad word to use there, but yeah, he basically said, that's basically our point was that people will hear us, some will believe it, and then most people are just waiting for it to be confirmed.
Right.
So,
I mean, when we said Brooks was out and gone, he was gone.
Yeah.
And we said it way before anybody else did. And we went on Pete. I went on Pete's show. I don't know if you were there, and said, no, this is done. He'll never play for Berhalter again. And then Berhalter made two following excuses for why Brooks wasn't going to be on the team or didn't get called up. And, we were still right. And now Brooks is making a comeback. So there you go. He played really good this weekend. Chris Gary, thank you, brother, for the $4.99. We love you. I despise the superiority complex in the media. Oh, it goes way beyond U.S. soccer media, that's for sure, especially when the vast majority are garbage at what they do, and saying garbage is being nice. You're so right. It's really hard these days to get anything of substance through any mainstream media outlet. And that goes for U.S. soccer. That goes for just anybody because it's all hit-based. And it's also very polarized. So, like, you can't get real news. You have to really find that niche of independent reporters that are doing the real research to get real news. And that's sad. And I'm not going to go any further with that.
Yeah. Jose says, and I'm going to fix what I think he says here, but is there even enough interest in mainstream for their opinions to even matter?
They're still around. And listen, there are good, like Brian Schroeder's not really a mainstream guy. I mean, he does write occasional article for Sports Illustrated or whatever, but he's writing for America Soccer Now mostly. That's sort of an independent site.
And I was gonna say he's mainstream in the sense of within the soccer community, but most of his content comes with Soccer America. So I mean, it's
could you call him Meg's not really mainstream? Her paper isn't big enough for that, or her media outlet isn't. But then you got the ESPN, NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox reporters. Some of them do a good job. Some of them do not do a good job at all. They're horrible. And so I don't know. We're going to see how it goes for, how things develop as things roll forward. But should I do the Yanks of Rob report real quick?
Matthew says, Derek, which mainstream guys wind you up the most?
I'm not gonna name names. I mean, we talked about Mike DeCourcy. I mean, I will say his name because he lives about 5 miles from me. Yeah, he could drive to my place and beat me up if he wanted to. But I'm not the only one that Mike thinks Mike DeCourcy's a suck up and a half-wit and a totally in the box thinker, somebody who can't possibly think outside the box, who basically is a establishment suck up, and whoever's in power, he will suck that.
You get your answer. Yep, there you go.
He will deep throat that shit. So I will call Mike DeCourcy out. How's that? And Mike, you want to come beat me up? Let me know. I'm down the road.
I don't think he's playing. One, I don't know if he even knows who you are. Two, I don't think he's planning to come down and try to beat you up.
No, I'm just kidding around.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to fight him anyhow. So, I'm old. If he's as old as I am and he doesn't lift weights and work out, I'd consider it a brawl. But otherwise, if he's in a lot better shape than I am going to bow out of that fight immediately. And if he's like 6'4" and some sort of fucking gorilla, I'm not fighting no big dude right now. My back hurts bad enough as it is. I don't even know if we can cover Yanks Abroad, Brett. We're at 133 in here.
Yeah, I mean, you'd speed round it because, there was not a whole, there's some things to talk about, but, most of our key starters that we usually talk about in abundance either didn't play or got very few minutes. So.
All right. Well, Aronson didn't get a few minutes. He got 70, and he played really good for about 20 of them. McKennie got the last 20. I don't even know why they put him on. They lost, as expected, to Arsenal, and now the next game becomes absolutely vital for them. Riemann Robinson, I don't know what's going on there. It's like they hit like prime point, and now they're starting to fade a little. But they went 90 in a loss.
That's kind of expected on a team like Fulham at this point, though. Like the fact that they've had this meteoric rise for as long as they did is something to behold, but you would imagine at some point the star would start to fade a little.
Not against that team they played.
Oh, sure. But it doesn't matter who it's against. It matters at a certain point it will happen.
No, I don't want it to happen.
All right. I think you do. I think you want them to win the Premier League. So.
I do. That's my team. Turner was benched as usual. Pulisic got 10, and Chelsea dropped to 11th. Oh, my God. And Potter got fired. And then Horvath went 90 to win. Trusty played an actual left back, and they won. That's Birmingham. Willie Smallbone got a goal. in 83 minutes for Stoke. I know he's not.
Is this one of Mitch's names?
No, it's a real player. His name is Willie Smallbone, and he plays for Stoke.
His parents
Yes.
must have hated him.
It'd be even funnier if the name of his team was Stroke.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's Stoke. He got a goal in 83 minutes and a win for Stoke. Stefan, I'm basically going to report on all of Willie Smallbone's games for the rest of the season.
Just for the name alone, yeah.
Absolutely. Stefan got 90 and a loss, and apparently, and I just watched some of the highlights. It didn't look like he made any horrendous errors, but it looked like he could have made some saves there. Looked like there were some possibilities for him to stop the bleeding. Holmes went 26 minutes and then got injured, so he's back. He was injured. He came in, played 26 minutes, got it re-injured, and was pulled out. Sargent went 90 and a loss and was pathetically. I mean, he had Brett. You know what I'm talking about. Sargent had these great moments, just absolutely great moments where he makes a steal, he gets the ball moving forward, and then he turns around and he passes it backwards, and it all breaks down. And sometimes he just needs to get more greedy and say, "Fuck it, I'm taking this all the way on my own. Try to stop me."
Maybe he's hoping to get the return pass. A little 1-2 action.
It never happens. They always pass it to Pookie. DK, 30 minutes in a tie. EPB, 90 minutes in a loss.
Real quickly, because Maverick had this question beforehand, but was he a midfielder or were they playing a two-striker?
They played a double striker for most of the game. It looks sometimes like he faded out wide, but for the most part, he and Pookie were up top, with one playing higher than the other in certain parts of the game, but mostly Pookie playing. So he is mostly a second striker. That's what I would call him. PFOC, 13 and a win. Somebody said he got an assist, but they need to go review that footage. That was not an assist. Paredes, 30 minutes and an assist to tie the game. Yep, good for him. Reyna did not dress. Apparently he's got elbow herpes. Reynolds, 90 and a loss. Mihailovic, 20 and a tie. Alvarado and Mendez did not dress for Vizela. Tessman got 90 and a win for Venezia. Novakovic got 20. Busio did not dress. I think he may still have a case of, what's that bent dick thing? That's the disease. Peyronie's. He's got excessive Peyronie's.
So I showed some of the bingo cards to Evie, and she's reading through it because I wanted to show her the one that says, Mrs. the Brett.
Oh, yeah.
And that wasn't shocked, the fact that she comes up every now and then. But she's going through, and she's like, herpes and other STDs. You guys talk about STDs on the show? I'm like, well, when Derek talks about a player who's injured, he doesn't really know what the injury is. It's usually a case of the herpes or something like that,
Yeah, just make it up. All right.
He's got genital herpes, It's just it's not for the weak,
So yeah, Busio out with Peyronie's disease. It's serious, folks. All right. Hey, did you know there's a team in the 3rd division of Dutch soccer, in the Tweede division, named Quick Boys? Now there's a team I don't want to be on.
Maybe Willie Smallbone should go to Quick Boys.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to be part of the Quick Boys. Who do you play for? I'm one of the Quick Boys.
Like who are the mascot of the Quick Boys? Oh, it's the Minutemen, right?
It's the guy on the team that comes within 3 minutes of having sex. He's a quick boy. All right, Hoppy, 81 and a loss for Hibernian. Malik Tillman with 2 goals in 85 minutes. Ian Harks was the guy on the other side receiving those 2 goals for Dundee United. He played 90. Maurice Malone continues to play for Wolfsburg. No. What is the name of that team? It's Wolf something. Wolf something. No, not Stein.
Not Wolfenstein?
No. Wolfenstein. Wolfsburger. Sorry, I never write down the team names because I expect myself to know them. Maurice Malone got a goal and a win, and that's his 17th goal. Wait, his 6th goal in 17 games for Wolfsburger. Remember, he's an Augsburg guy. He's just out on loan. What else we got? We got Tompkinson was sent down to Stevenage, by the way. He's been there for a while. He's played 6 games.
Stevenage,
all the way down in League Two. I don't know why they loaned him so far down. That seems like, why would you loan him all the way down to League Two? Like, loan this kid to Championship or loan this kid to League One. Why would you loan him all the way down to Stevenage, where he's playing with butlers and fucking, guys that make donuts and drink bartenders? Why would you send him that far down the table?
Sunday League, yeah.
Well, Wolfsburger. See, I got it right. Eventually, Jasper. Thank you.
It almost sounds like a medical condition. I got Wolfsburger.
Do you? Is that like when you get like a really hairy penis?
Oh, yeah.
I got to carry some Wolfsburger. my dick's so hairy. Certainly, that got to be fixed. Auto promotion though for Stevenage. They are up in the auto promotion area. That doesn't matter anything to Tompkinson because it's a loan. Waya went 82 at right back. In a win, Balogun 80 in an assist, Joe Scally 90 in a tie, Brooks 90 in another win for Hoffenheim. They're going to be crawling out of that bottom level here. Chase still injured, by the way.
How well have they been doing since Matarazzo got there?
Well, that's, I believe, 2 wins in a row. So there you go.
He's the king of bottom of the Bundesliga, huh?
I guess so.
Just eking over relegation.
And they're playing a back 3, and Brooks is playing in the middle of that back 3, by the way. So he is like the guy, right in the middle. And he looks a lot more confident in the game. Like you could see him directing traffic, telling people where to go. Like, okay, come over here, you go over here, pass it back to me. Nope, kick that out wide. Like he's a part of this team. And I think they're gonna pull it out, and then people are gonna still say fuck Brooks, because they hate him because they love Berhalter, but whatever. Luca De La Torre 57 in a tie, not his best game. McKenzie 90 for Genk, not his best game either.
Not McKinney, right?
Nope, not McKinney. Otis Sowie, shut up about that. Otis Sowie is, by the way, we were all wondering where Otis Sowie was once he disappeared. He's back, and they sent him all the way down to the academy club. So that's where he's been playing since September of last year in the academy.
He's just biding the time before his contract expires.
I think that's the 3rd or 4th division in Bruges too, in the Belgium league, and that's the Bruges 2.
I can't believe we're still paying this guy.
I mean, they only have him down there so they can get rid of him as soon as possible. They've already said that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You don't play him at all. And 100%. Yeah.
Right. Booth, 64 and a tie. Pepe, 90 with another goal. And, of course, a loss because Groningen are horrible. Fossey played right wing back, got another goal for Standard Liège. Cannon, 90 and a loss, playing actual right back position. Sebastian Soto, 45 and a loss for Klagenfurt. Kappas in the 18 for Brøndby. Green, 78 and a loss. Dietz was on the bench. Conrad did not dress. No shit. Really?
Is Green seeing more playing time since Billman left?
Yes, he is. He really is. Yeah, it's not a joke. Zendejas, 36 and an assist for basically kept America above water there. Club America. CC, I thought he was on Pumas last show. What the fuck was wrong with me? Like I had a total brain fart. Terrence Boyd, 79 and a tie. Sorry, Taylor, did not score. But he played against Leonard Maloney, who played for Heidenheim in that game, who went 86 minutes. So let me get this straight. So Heidenheim were winning the game 2-0. They went into the 90th minute. They pulled Maloney out at the 86th minute. Maloney was playing center defensive mid for Heidenheim. They were up 2-0. They figure it's the 86th, 87th minute. Pull Maloney out. We'll go super defensive. And Kaiserslautern, without Boyd, scores 2 goals within 3 minutes of each other in the 93rd minute and the 96th minute of the game to tie Kaiserslautern. Unbelievable. You got to watch that. That's on ESPN Plus. I mean, just watch the last 10 minutes of that game. It's insanity. Hey, Anthony, how you doing, brother? I will call in Brooks just to spite you, Greg. I hope you do. I hope you do, Hud. What the fuck, Hudson?
You're my boy, Hudson.
All right. Oh, by the way, we do have another U.S. manager in Germany. His name is Fabian Hertzler, and he's the manager of St. Pauli, who are looking like they're going to go up next season. Jesse March is one of the candidates for the Leicester City head coaching job. I'll believe it when I see it.
But again, it's just one of those things we talk about. Yeah, the rumors are that he's in contention, but it's probably not going to happen. And then, like 3 days later, an article comes out.
You know, he's in contention. Like if you had herpes, there's some sort of lotion that's going to be in contention to help you get over it, right? That's what we're talking about here. Who's the best solution for the Leicester herpes issue? Is it Marsh? Is it Potter? It's probably Potter. If I'm picking Potter.
You pick Potter, and then you bring Marsh as an assistant. There we go. Problem solved.
I think Potter has a better history, and his lotion has a better scientific study done on it, and it shows that it's more effective. While Marsh's lotion is sort of just something you rub on and hope it works, right?
Yeah.
Right? And that could mean you still have some herpes. So you want the lotion that gets rid of the herpes. All right. You mean they gave him an interview? I don't even know if you could say that much. We don't know that.
Leicester, social media is the key factor here as far as determining where people's mindset are. But Leicester's following Jesse.
They're following Jesse Marsh because one of the top guys at Leicester, who happens to be, I don't remember what administration position he holds, is really hot for Jesse Marsh's wife. That's the only reason he's been following Jesse Marsh around for his wife. So that's stalking, people. All right.
John is saying that Potter already said no.
He said no, and then what I heard was after they presented him a giant pot of money, he said, "Well, maybe." So we'll see. But you know, if I'm Potter, I might want to take a break too. Because listen, you're going into a Leicester situation where you could just lose out for the rest of the season. And then you have what on your record? You went to Chelsea, you flopped. Then you went to Leicester, you flopped. That's 2 flops in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So
third flop, you're out.
Yes, sometimes just 1 flop and you're out. But 2 flops is a big problem. And I can't believe that Jesse is a candidate when there are other guys who are well known, who are jobless right now for saving teams. I won't name their names because we all know who they are, Big Sam. I don't know. Hire a guy that's known for getting teams out of shit situations like this. All right, I want to mention some guys in MLS before we go who had good games. Aiden Morris had 2 goals for Columbus, so keep an eye on him. Jordan Morris had a goal. They're not related. But they do have the same girlfriend, which is really odd and confusing for both of them.
Awkward on dates.
Very awkward, especially when they go on a triple date. So that means together, the 3 of them. And
who's the third wheel in that little get together?
I don't know. I think it's pretty equal. I think each of them gets a hole. So they're all right. Jalen Neal, goal for LA Galaxy. Bobby Wood with an assist. There's a certain person who would get a boner hearing that. Shaq Moore got an assist for Nashville. Fafa Bakal, the only players ever stood us up on this show, got a goal for Nashville. Michael Bradley got a goal, along with Brendan Cervania's assist for Toronto. Ben Bender, a guy named Benjamin Bender. Ben Bender. He should be on that fucking show with the cartoon where they go to space and shit. What's that show? With Bender the robot?
Futurama.
Yeah. Ben Bender. What the fuck were his parents thinking? Ben Bender. Hi, what's your name? Oh, my name's Ben Bender.
Like
Okay.
William Williamson. It's like, come on, man.
It's like my parents almost named me Richard Ritchie. It's like, I'm glad they didn't. It's like, what? They're going to call me Dick Ritchie.
Dick Ritchie. Hey, it worked for Mr. Tracy. It worked for Ritchie.
That's true. Ben Bender over got a goal, and he plays for Clit. Oh, no, that's CLT for Charlotte. My bad. CLT. That is a horrible. Have you noticed that during the game? CLT is the acronym they use for Charlotte. They can't fix that somehow.
Okay, so since we're on the topic, I guess
Clit. Clit.
One of the schools in my districts, their mascot is the Rocket.
Okay. I see where this is.
Guess what color they are?
Red.
The red.
The big red rocket. I mean, are we talking dog penis or what?
This got brought up with my boss. My boss is like, "Yeah, oh, geez, I'd hate to see what the just so everybody knows, my boss is a female. My boss goes, man, I'd hate to see what the school colors for the Beavers are."
Pink.
No, it's actually just a light red, Derek.
Are there teams named the Beavers?
I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's a beaver somewhere around. We were talking about that, and I was like, on the TV show How I Met. That wasn't How I Met. Was that? How I Met Your Mother. They talked about Robin's past, and there's this. She was actually she was a Canadian pop star, but then two, she was also in a math TV show, and they're talking about like, now if Robin's beaver could consume 8 inches of wood, and Tiffany's beaver can consume 7 inches of wood, how many inches of wood was consumed by both beavers?
That's good. That's really good. All right. A lot of beaver talk here. But yeah, come on, Charlotte. You got to fix the acronym MLS for Charlotte. It could be CHT, CHL, CTT, instead of CLT, which is so obviously Clit. Can we fix that, please? Oh, I don't mind it. I mean, if you want to keep it, fine. Oh, yeah. The Oregon State Beavers. That's right. There are teams named the Beavers. I wonder how the women's team how they handle that, the soccer team. What are you? I'm a Beaver. Oh, yeah. Well, that's pretty. You're coming off kind of hard.
Hey-o.
Yeah, you're coming off pretty heavy there. All right. Then we got this guy named Beaker. Becher, until somebody tells me how to pronounce it. Because in German, I don't think it would be Beaker. I think it would be pronounced differently, but oh well. That's what they said on MLS. I watched the highlights. He got 2 goals. The Lady Beavers. Laughing out loud. Beaker got 2 goals and assists in this game. He's 22 years old.
No, Beaker says it just goes meep.
Beaker, from the Muppet Show.
Mm-hmm.
He is a center forward. He's 6'2", 6'3". He's scored 5 goals in 4 games. And when he was coming out of college with the Billikens at St. Louis, he went on to play with Reading United, Ocean City at USL Leagues 2, and Vancouver 2. In those 48 games, he scored 31 goals. So
he's a man on the move, man.
Let's keep an eye on this guy. But on his team, they slaughtered. They won 5-0 Vancouver. I mean, Montreal looked pathetic. Gressel also scored, and so did Brian White. So all Americans, lots of goals. They scored 4 of the 5 goals for Vancouver. So good game. And that's it for the Yanks abroad and home over the week. So, okay, I just pulled all my headphones out of my ears. There we go. All right, I'm back. All right, that's about it, folks. Almost 2 hours in. I'm sorry you won't be able to cross that off of your box if it's one of the choices.
Well, bring that up.
No. I'm sorry. I can't stretch this show any longer. That's what she said. All right. There's only so much. We'd need a whole lot of lubricant to get the show to be any longer, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And MCR closed about 4 hours ago for dinner, and Derek's got to go to bed.
You know, one thing that I really love about the people that must watch our show is you must enjoy wisdom because we are old. I'm really old. And if you were ageist pricks, you wouldn't watch this show because you're like, that's an old fucker. He's got nothing to give. He's got nothing to say. He's got nothing to add to the conversation. And I'm glad that you believe that we do. And I really appreciate it. And as Brett's beard grows grayer by the year and he catches up to me.
I like I can't even say it's salt and pepper. But it's salt and pepper look. I'm digging it. Go with it.
It's mostly still, like a middle-aged Viking or something like that. So it's all right.
You gotta start braiding it down.
By the way, I don't know about you, but I was at my regular porn site the other night, and they kept pushing this commercial. Do you struggle to find a quick hookup nearby?
Your porn videos have ads?
Yeah. At the beginning, you can close the ad. I'm like, no, I do not struggle to find a quick up nearby because I'm not interested in one. And by the way, I'm not interested in herpes either. I don't understand this. Is it that normal to just hook up with somebody nearby? And if you don't, that's a struggle? Like, I don't know, Brett, can you tell me? You're married, so you can't. People out there, you tell me, is a nearby hookup, is that an easy thing these days? Like people you don't know, you've never heard of, you just go hook up with them and have sex? Like at fucking Wendy's.
One of the
bathroom?
sole purposes of Tinder at this point. It's not to find a soulmate, it's to find a fuckable mate.
Wow. That just sounds like venereal disease all over it. I don't know. If I were you guys, be safe. Be safe out there.
I showed you a clip from that what podcast or whatever, and all the chicks that got on there, they always talk about their body count, and you shouldn't judge it. By all means, your body count's your thing. But I mean, finding going out and hooking up on a nightly basis, no, it could be a fun time.
That's just fucking insanity, dude. I had to play
I don't have the game, so it doesn't matter.
I had to play a live show for an hour long of music to get laid. Like I had to actually go out and prove that I had a talent. Now you don't even have to do that. That's crazy. You just go out and they say, hey, yeah, I got a dick. And she says, yeah, I got a pussy. And you guys just hook up and have some sex. It's crazy shit, man. You used to have to earn it a little. Now it's just like, now let's just hook up. Wow, things have changed, man. They really have.
Yeah, you are coming off sounding awfully old here, though, Derek. By saying
I don't care. I'm giving you some wisdom. Maybe that's not a good thing, is what I'm saying. Maybe we should be connecting with each other as human beings, at least on the basic level of enjoying the same sort of music.
And you have no idea if there's some tweeting back and forth before the nightly hookup. You don't know.
Oh, I'm sure it's deep.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's real deep.
It really was deep, wasn't it?
Listen, I'm not preaching. I have done my fair share of one nights. I get it. I've done it. So I'm not preaching. But if that was like, once every couple weeks or 3 weeks or 5 weeks or whenever we were playing.
Yeah.
But every fucking night or every other night, or I'm hearing like every couple nights, that's something you do? That's crazy. You're just asking for something bad to happen. Seriously. So be careful out there, guys. I'm sorry, I'm sounding old, right? I'm sounding like a protective old grandpa. Now, Jimmy, I want you to make sure you go out there and have protected sex.
Double up.
Don't fuck the first thing you see either. Make sure you get to know her and she's not crazy. Whatever.
So Chris, a lot of people are trying to play the last card on their bingo card, or last slot on their bingo card here. But yeah, Chris Gary is definitely pushing for that 2 hour mark. He wanted to remind you that there's Twitter questions, Derek, but Chris might not recall. We actually went over all the Twitter questions throughout the show.
All right. Good night. See you later.
Wait, we gotta wait.
All right. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share the show. Hey, man, make clips of the show. Just don't take us out of context. and put them on Twitter. We're
Like the
fine.
one-
If you don't take us out of context, we're fine with it. All right.
Derek, what's the context behind the one where you're like jerking off all the dicks and now it's all on my face? You know.
Yeah, that one's going to be hard to define context for. I get that, but at least try to provide some context for that one if you can. But feel free to cut and use freely on if we said something about a certain person or whatever, and you want to make fun of them, then you go ahead and you do it by using one of our little snippets if you want to do that. But let's be sure that we provide context. I don't want you to do another one where we have one shared with Jimmy where it sounds like I said something like Jimmy's my best buddy or something, because that's not true. He's not my best buddy. I don't even remember what it was, but it was out of context. So can I AI generate your voices? No, Mike. I mean, you can, but I don't want you to. I really don't.
Have you seen the Joe Rogan and Ben Shapiro one where Joe's old and he's like, I went to the beach. It made me old. It makes you old.
Yep. I don't.
I thought that was hysterical, but it's awfully dangerous.
Mm-hmm. I don't like that at all. I'll be honest with you. I think we're getting into some serious, dangerous territory with AI vocal reproduction. It's frightening because you can make anybody say anything.
Yeah, and how do you ultimately prove that you didn't say that?
Well, then you just have the original footage, I guess. You say, here's the original footage, and here's what they turned it into. You know? But that's like proving you're innocent. That's when you're in really bad territory, when you have to prove you're innocent.
I'm sure you could take the audio clip and break it down and find whatever codex is in there. You know, say like, no, this is AI generated. See, I don't know.
Well, I mean, somebody does something horrible to us, I'm just going to get the person's address, find them, drive to their house, and stick my foot up their ass. So there you go.
The Trump, Biden, and Obama ones are hysterical. They do one playing games, so like they take like Call of Duty or whatever, and they just have a back and forth. Oh, they're hysterical.
No, I'm sure that's funny, but everybody know that's fake.
Yes.
So, but you start doing it to people who are not public figures, and frankly, folks, we are not public figures at this point because we are not big enough to be considered public figures. We're public in the sense that like 2,000 of you give a fuck. So there's that. 2,000 what? 600? 2,700? Where are we at?
Our numbers? 2006-3, I think.
Okay. Well, that's nice. But I want to thank you all because those of you that do watch this show are very much like big supporters of ours, and we love you, and we love your posts, and you come back on the regular, and you're almost like family at this point. And I'm not just trying to nuzzle your balls or give you a reach around. I just feel like we're getting to know you pretty well, and that's kind of cool. Like I feel like we're like a little warm little straight red card family here. But go ahead and watch the other shows. We're okay with that. If you sleep around, we got no problem with that. Sleep with Pete, sleep with Tack, sleep with Jake. Yeah, go ahead and
make sure you're using a VPN for protection.
Right, definitely. All right. Until the next time on the Straight Red Card, do not sleep with your stepmom. That's a bad move.
Somebody's going to get bingo from that one.
But she's a trap. She's an unsung novel. Turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on the line. Or a phone call with or without wine.
You're gonna do her. Yeah.
Oh no!